welcome console sim racing fans. B Rated here again. And what we're looking at is I'm going to give you my impressions on the 3 top sim racing games currently available on the PS4. So we start with Project Cars 2. We're jumping straight into the game itself. We've got a McLaren GT3 650S round Brands Hatch, and I haven't had long with the game, so this is a new purchase for me, but overall it's kind of the in-between game, so it's quite sim related, less game kind of feeling to it, but overall I thought graphically it looks quite good. The car is close to realistic handling. I'm running a steering wheel setup with this, so I have currently a Thrustmaster T150 steering wheel, T3 PA pedals, so slightly better pedals than the standard, and I have a PlaySeat Challenge seat to have it all mounted to. So I'm fairly new into this, so I've been kind of sim racing for a year now, and primarily use Gran Turismo, but obviously expanding my horizons, looking at the other games. But overall, I enjoyed playing this game. Graphically, compared to the other 2 titles we're looking at, Gran Turismo and also Assetto Corsa, and moving on to the replay here, it's good. It looks pretty realistic. Certainly the replays replicate obviously what I've been doing with the car in terms of driving style. Feel wise is quite difficult on the steering wheel and brake pedal setup. I also really don't like the fact that when we're turning into sharper corners, as you can see, myself in the cockpit and driving is having to kind of unhand the steering wheel, which really in real life and in a GT3 car would probably never happen. Car wouldn't have as much lock to be able to do that anyway. So there are certain inaccuracies in this game, which is a shame really, because otherwise if they'd maybe spent a little bit more time developing those aspects, it would be a more true to life sim racer. But overall it looks quite pretty, handling isn't bad. I kind of feel it's kind of one of those ones in the middle. We come onto the good points at the end. I suppose for me the slight bad points are that aspect of the steering. Braking's quite difficult to get right, even if you set ABS on there. You could see I locked up before. Sense of speed's there, and it is kind of more towards sim racing. So the good, it's quite easy to get racing quickly. The weather effects, if you run them, are really good. The graphics are good, and the handling is on the realistic side. We're going to move on to Assetto Corsa now. So I haven't had this for very long, so a couple of months now. But straight away, just sound-wise, over Project Cars 2 is just so much better. Apart from the startup, when it starts up, when you get into the car, you kind of close the door. It's got a really kind of digital startup. But once actually in the car and racing, this is definitely for me the closest to real life in terms of sim races we're reviewing today, including Gran Turismo. So you have to be delicate, you have to treat the car with a lot of respect. You can feel the bumps in the road, everything's through the force feedback. As you get to higher speeds, you're getting a bit of vibration within the steering system itself. It really does make you feel that you're driving a real McLaren GT3S, which I think in essence is kind of what I'm looking for when I race sim races. Put too much power on too soon, it's immediately gonna kick the back end out with it being rear wheel drive. You know, you have to sometimes be patient, and I think the reward with this game is just completing a single lap. If you do it well and you get a good lap time, you're buzzing about it. You feel really, really proud that you've accomplished that kind of race. Graphically as well, the in-car view that we're looking at now is probably the best out of the 3. It really is sharp. There's a sense of speed. replays are probably where this is more close to kind of PC replays. So when we look at Gran Turismo, it's very, very cinematic. They are probably the best at making the replays look really good. This one, again, replicates exactly what you've done. It gives you an idea. The cars are pretty. The tracks are very accurate. You can see on the tarmac, obviously, kind of where people are braking hard to get into corners, where the racing line is on the track. Where you come along here, you can see they've laid a little bit of different tarmac there. It's a darker colour, which is very true to life if you've been to Brands Hatch. You can see there's 3 lines of tarmac down the track itself, and it's pretty accurately replicated. Like I say, it's a little bit more difficult to get along with. You can't kind of jump out of Gran Turismo, start racing Assetto Corsa without kind of learning to be more delicate, a little bit softer, a little bit of learning to find out what the car's doing beneath you, because otherwise you're just going to spin off track quite a lot and you're going to spend a lot of your time crashing into people. But overall, really, really great simulation racing game. Certainly kind of one of my favorites. So amazing physics. The in-cockpit view is the best in my opinion, and the realism of the game is very good. Now we're on to Gran Turismo. So again, same track, same car. So McLaren GT3 650S. We're at Brands Hatch. We're in car. So the feel of this game, you know, Gran Turismo is what I've raced mostly. Probably 90% of my time is on Gran Turismo. And I think it's kind of a halfway house. It is sim, but it has an element of forgiveness with it being a game. So I think it allows people with, you know, a gamepad to kind of get on quite well with this. Assetto Corsa and Project Cars, you really do need a steering wheel to get the best out of the game, to get that feel and immersion. With Gran Turismo, you can do it on a pad, but we're on the wheel here, and it is really, really good. It's accurate, graphics-wise, it looks good. I don't think the in-car looks as good as Assetto Corsa, but overall, yeah, what I'm most comfortable with. You can put in quite fast times. The tracks are accurately modelled, but again, it's a great game. It does everything well. Polyphony have done a great job in replicating what they've always done, which is making a game feel nice. Everything is easy to use. All the screens come together very well. Easy to get racing quickly. Replay wise, probably the best out of the 3 in terms of the effects that they use. Some people don't like blurring, but overall, camera angles, camera placement, the impression that it gives that you're driving around this track is probably the best in replay mode. Little kicking up of dust when it's dry. I suppose the downside is there's no real weather effects. There's only one track that has a wet weather surface. So other than racing at night or in different conditions, they're the only real differences in Gran Turismo. Weather effects really do sit with Project Cars the best, you know, with full-on rain, varying weather as you race. It's probably the best for that. Assetto Corsa, I haven't really looked at the weather dynamics yet, but obviously as I get more into it, we'll review that at a later stage. But overall, really good game. It's funny, obviously, the Project Cars 2 and Assetto Corsa kind of set about a 1:30 on this track. In Gran Turismo, I'm just so used to it. It's kind of a 1:26 when I cross the line. So 4 seconds quicker, but I think that's just purely because I'm used to the physics and the handling of it. I suppose one of its trump cards, though, its party piece, is this next bit, which is if you spent the £250 on a VR headset and you're not that interested in racing other cars, you can go full VR. From an immersion point of view, you know, this is kind of another level. It's a little bit muted. I think Assetto Corsa, actually, from immersion, from a 2D point of view, is just as good. But this being full 3D, putting you in the vehicle is just a party piece that none of the others at this moment on a console can match. Obviously, Assetto Corsa, if you're PC racing and your PC can handle it, then you can race VR in Assetto Corsa, which for me would be the absolute ultimate, because it puts you in the vehicle, so it is fabulous in terms of when you're in the car and you're looking around and you kind of feel that you won. You know, you go to scratch your face or something like that, you expect your hand to come off the steering wheel. So again, the replay, which we've just switched to here, again looks beautiful. Cameras are great. Everything kind of about it gives you that, and it really is a trump card for Gran Turismo. And if you haven't tried it, you know, have a look for friends, or you know, if you can afford it, go out and buy it, because it just does make another whole new level. So Gran Turismo, still the daddy, has the best of everything. Second place at the moment is Assetto Corsa, although I'd say it's the best sim. And then third kind of sits Project Cars 2. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.